Well, this is HQ. I came on here because I wanted to state my piece or state my case about uh, this, state my case about this whole uh, debacle that we are in with Netanyahu, right? I believe the war has been planned for a very long time. This war, okay, I think it's been orchestrated between Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu for a long while. So, and I wrote a couple notes here, okay? The desire to see regime change in Iran has long simmered in the neoconservative circles in both the US and Israel. Bibi, Benjamin Netanyahu, even before his latest terms as Israel's prime minister, had consistently viewed Iran as an existential threat to Israel due to its support of Hezbollah and Hamas, which are the fighting factions in, I think, Pakistan, maybe Iraq and Palestine, and the nuclear ambitions that Iran had, right? Donald Trump, meanwhile, was heavily influenced by his hawkish advisors like John Bolton and Jared Kushner, whose ties to Israel and their politics and Gulf monarchies align with the goal of neutralizing Iran. Even before Trump officially announced his presidential run in 2015, Netanyahu and his allies had been lobbying U.S. politicians to abandon the Iranian nuclear deal. So, the 2015 nuclear deal fallout occurred in 2015. President Obama, along with other world powers, world leaders, signed the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, right? Which placed strict limitations on Iran's nuclear program. Netanyahu publicly condemned the deal, even breaking diplomatic protocol by addressing the U.S. Congress to criticize it. Trump later campaigned on a promise to dismantle what he called the worst deal ever, which was this Iranian nuclear deal. This alignment of anti-Iranian sentiment laid the groundwork for deeper strategic coordination. Trump's election and early signs that we were going to have a deal. This was in 2016. Netanyahu seized that opportunity to cozy up to Trump. They shared the same populist ideologies and disdain for multicultural, multilateral diplomacy. They both did. Almost immediately, Trump staffed the people he got around him. Let's put it that way. The people he got around him, he had Mike Pompeo, John Bolton. The intelligence sharing and defense coordination between the U.S. and Israel increased. That means our communication and our foundation with Israel, it became stronger. It became clear that Trump was moving towards a more confrontational policy with Iran. So this has been being ready to get going for a long time. Trump making it seem like he didn't want no wars. Notice that he kept saying no wars, no new war. No, he ain't no war president, blah, blah, blah. He been setting this shit up from day one, even in his first term. In 2018, Trump officially withdrew from the nuclear deal. This was a major turning point with Iran. They reimposed crushing sanctions to Iran, hoping to force the country into economic collapse and internal unrest. This is what Trump did. He reimposed all of those things that Obama had promised that he would take away if Iran gave up their nuclear weapons. Netanyahu was right on board with that, calling it a brave decision that President Trump had done that. So they tried to isolate Iran. They moved to isolate Iran diplomatically and begin what some people call maximum pressure campaign to get them to squash the country, to collapse the country. Okay. And a lot of people knew this was how they were trying to push Iran into some kind of war, some kind of confrontation. Okay. Throughout Trump's presidency, Israel and the United States escalated cyber attacks, assassination attacks, targeting Iranian operatives, leaders. Israeli operatives were reportedly attributed to killing the Iranian nuclear scientists in 2020. Okay, and we had drone strikes that killed General Qassam, Iran's top military strategist, in 2020. These actions were publicly justified as defensive. They also had the effect of systematically decapitating Iran's military and nuclear leadership too. You're pushing a dog into a corner. That's what they were doing. Pushing the dog into a corner so the dog has to fight. So then came the Abraham Accords. The Trump administration also brokered the Abraham Accords in 2020, normalizing relations between Israel and several Arab states like the UAE and Bahrain. These deals were promoted as peace agreements, but also served to strategically encircle Iran with hostile neighbors and allied with both Israel and the United States. They were cutting Iran off from other people that lived around them, so they would be isolated and they'd be able to attack them without censure. These alignments strengthened the anti-Iranian axis and hinted at a deeper regional strategy, isolating and ultimately weakening the Islamic Republic. So they had this in mind when President Trump was president back then. In the final months of Trump's presidency, there were reports that he considered launching a preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear weapons and sites. Reports that he considered launching a preemptive strike. He just launched a preemptive strike 5 years later. So this is planned. So we know this has been planned. While those plans were never executed, it became clear that war planning had moved beyond the rhetoric. Netanyahu, who faced domestic scandals and political pressure, and he got a warrant issued for his arrest as a war criminal, saw future conflict with Iran as a rallying cause to maintain power. The groundwork for future U.S. and Israeli cooperation in striking Iran was already being institutionalized through joint drills and expanded weapon systems. Even after Trump left office, many of his policies remain intact. The Biden administration was slow to re-enter the Iranian deal, and tensions remain high. Israel, under Netanyahu, once again continued airstrikes in Syria against Iranian proxies and ramped up intelligence efforts. Far from a change in course, the strategic aims laid during the Trump years seem to be continuing under new leadership, suggesting the plan outlived any single administration. October 7th, the Hamas attack against Israel. The Hamas attack on Israel, October 7th, 2023, served as a flashpoint. Israel responded by blaming Iran for backing Hamas. escalating the conflict across Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq. The U.S., under pressure from allies and lobbyists, began to deploy more forces in the region. Trump and Netanyahu allies resurfaced in the media, pushing the narrative that Iran had to be dealt with once and for all, and that they were close to getting nuclear weapons. So that's where we begin to hear Netanyahu all the time talking about, we need to stop them. They got weapons. They're about to get weapons. Blah blah blah. Many critics argued that the response to Hamas was a pretext to target Iran itself, a long-planned trigger finally pulled. So here we are, 2025. Trump just got elected. No, we're not gonna go to war. We're not gonna go to war. We're not gonna go to war. He's not a war president. He's not a war president. Da 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 da. Now, with the Israeli airstrikes and U.S. operations directly targeting Iranian military infrastructure, the pieces seem to fall into place. Trump got on his shitty social and said, regime change, regime change, regime change. They did this to change the regime, to change the leaders of that country. This has been planned all along. If you go back in the news, you will see Benjamin Netanyahu, even in Trump's first era, Obama's first term, Benjamin Netanyahu is out there screaming about, we need to stop these people from getting a nuclear weapon. Okay, even when Tulsi Gabbard said they ain't close to getting no nuclear weapons, this is gonna be years, the president came out and said, I don't know what she talking about. I don't know what y'all talking about. So only some people are in the know. Some people are in the know that this is what this president has been planning from day one. So the ultimate goal isn't just to degrade Iranians' capability, okay, but to collapse the regime itself, either through war or internal upheaval, one or the other. So Trump is aiming for, Netanyahu is clinging to power. Both men have an incentive to see this plan reach its climax. This war, far from spontaneous, like people think, just out of the blue. You think that Netanyahu sent some rockets over there to Iran and Trump didn't know about it? Y'all think he did that and Trump didn't know about it? This is a long orchestrated campaign to redraw the Middle East with Iran out of the equation. I wonder how it's going to go. We're worried. They don't have any strategic long-term missiles, so we don't have to worry about that. But we do have to worry about sleeper cells. We do have to worry about people that are in the United States already. And just think, why are we having a border crisis right now where people are going nuts about the border? Let's deport all these motherfuckers before they start making sleeper cells and shit like that and breaking us all off. We don't want no radicalized human beings here in the United States. Why y'all think that is? Why do you think that is? I think this has been planned from the beginning. I think Trump and Netanyahu set this whole thing up. It ain't even been 200 days and we down into a war with people we had no business being in a war with. You wanted a war, Israeli? Go on, fight. We'll give you weapons, but we ain't finna help you fight. We ain't finna drop no bomb. Nah, I fear we're in the middle of it. And there ain't no way to get out of it. And we gonna find out that everything is a lie. I just got a feeling that I got a feeling that they threw the shiny object in front of us, because what they finna do in the back of us, that's the problem. What are they gonna do in the back of us? I just can't tell. Just can't tell. All I know is whatever y'all got planned, it ain't no good thing. It ain't no good thing.